Now, the long weekend is upon us and we've been informed no power cuts are expected. We are relieved about that, but this is a scant relief for some Johannesburg residents who will find themselves without water, unfortunately.
A normal water supply is only expected next week in Joburg South. That is, experts say as much as 60% of the water that is pumped into Johannesburg water is lost through poor and failing infrastructure. Let's cross live now to our senior reporter, Silindelo, Masikane, who is in the south of Joburg. Sli, of course, we heard in terms of South Hills, for example, we covered that extensively during the course of the week. They didn't have water, I believe, for about a week or so when we spoke to them last week. How's it looking today?
Not any better, Masako. In fact, from the residents I've been speaking to since I arrived here, they haven't had any water for over a month now. They say that the last time they had any water in their taps was around the middle of August. And of course, we saw a briefing yesterday from the officials from Johannesburg Water trying to clarify the situation around the water crisis that the municipality is in. However, that briefing for residents, they say, means absolutely nothing to them because for weeks now they've been struggling with water. Tammy will show you that as early as this morning, this JoJo tank, which is just opposite the clinic as well as the recreation center here in South Hills, has been quite busy with people coming with their water bottles, with buckets to try and fill up before, of course, it runs out. We had heard from officials saying that, you know, they were going to deploy water tankers to the most affected areas like South Hills to try and mitigate the effects. But for as long as I've been here, which is about 15-20 minutes, we've driven around the area. We haven't seen any water tankers, merely just this JoJo tank. And the residents were saying to me that once this JoJo tank runs out, they don't know exactly when again it's going to be filled. And, you know, some people will have to basically resort to buying water, which, of course, we know isn't going to be cheap. You know, it's a costly exercise. So for many of them, they are quite frustrated with the situation. I will try and speak to some of the residents here. Hi, Mama. I'm just going to bring one of the ladies here who is in the queue, who is also waiting for her turn to fill up her buckets. Mama, maybe just talk to me about how long you've been a resident here in South Hills and how long you haven't had water for, because when we spoke earlier on, you spoke about a month.
Yeah, it's been a month. Maybe it's going to a second month.
Yeah.
Even the clinic is closed. The kids are getting affected at school. They don't attend.
What is your local councillor telling you about the water situation?
I think she don't care because she don't even appear. We don't see her since this problem started.
Talk to me about the effects. How does it affect you and your family, this issue of having to come out here to get water?
It affects us a lot because we are busy. We have to get a time to come here, and some of us are staying far. We have to walk. Some of us don't have cars. We have to walk with buckets. So it's terrible.
Yeah. Perhaps, what are you being told about what the issue is? Why is there no water here in South Hills?
I think we have no idea what is happening. We've been asking around one another what is happening. We don't know. Like, we don't even know what is going on.
And how often do the water tankers come?
Maybe once a week. Or twice a week. Yeah.
Maybe then talk to me about what would you like to see happening. Obviously, you want to have water back in your taps, but, you know, this must be a very frustrating situation for you and your family. And I think we were talking about the fact that it's going to be elections next year, and the very same people that are asking you to vote for them can't even provide you with water.
Oh, it's going to be difficult. I think us as a community, we need to vote for a change because we see what is happening. So it's difficult because we don't even know which party we should trust anymore because this place is under DA, so we don't know. Like, we were so frustrated.
Maybe then if you could talk to those responsible to provide you with water, what would you say?
I will ask them what is happening. Why don't they address us, like, and tell us the exact problem? Because we don't know what is going on. At least we should know what is going on. We don't know.
Maybe then explain to me, when you can't get water from this Jojo tank, what do you do?
We have to buy.
Yeah.
Just imagine if you don't have money, but you have to buy. This is so sickening. It's not nice.
Thank you so much, Mama. All right. Just one of the residents here in South Hills, Maseko, talking to me about how the effect of not having water is affecting her and her family. We've got more residents coming with their buckets now to this Jojo tank to fill up for their homes. But let's just take a listen to what officials had to say during a press briefing yesterday.
To mitigate these water challenges, the entity has deployed a total of 50 roaming water tanker trucks and 56 stationary water tanks. While this may not replace potable water, this is how the entity to ensure residents have regular water supply. We are pumping water into Rahima Musa Mother and Child Hospital's roof tank to ensure patients have enough water supply, while the Helen Joseph Hospital is being fed directly through the tower system. Johannesburg Water regularly monitors the supply to both hospitals. Johannesburg Water has also been sending out communication twice a day to update residents and ward councillors on the systems. We've also been having meetings with councillors to keep them updated. The city also implemented the annual level 1 water restriction that takes place from 1 September until 31st March.
Let's now bring in our reporter Hloni Mtimkulu, who's in a different part of Johannesburg. Hloni, good morning. What's the situation on the ground where you are this morning?
Yeah, good morning, Jenny. So we are in Midrand at the Johannesburg Water Depot there. And of course, last night when Joburg Water released their latest statement in terms of what is happening, Midrand and some of the depots were some of those affected. The Grand Central Reservoir, they said, was low but supplying normally. The Grand Central Tower has recovered and is supplying normally. But the Errand Reservoir 1 and 2 were both low. And then the Errand Tower was empty and on bypass. So we have seen a few residents that are here that are getting water. We had also heard, though, that some parts of Midrand are having their water supply restored, but some, just in terms of the layout of Midrand, I'm hearing that parts of Halfway Gardens or in that direction, they still have not been restored. There are people here. I'm not sure if I'll be able to speak to them, if they will mind speaking to us. So I'm not sure if we can speak to you, please, just in terms of how much of a struggle it has been for you and how long you've not had water and go box.
It's been a while. Since Wednesday it was dry taps, so this is our daily life now. Back to the village.
Oh my gosh. And just talking about the cost of it, we were talking to this other man who's just left now, in terms of having to buy all these things and in terms of having to fill them up as well. How much of an inconvenience has that been?
Well, it's quite a bit because there aren't any buckets available anymore. So if you get them, you're lucky. And then if you have to refill, it's quite a bit as well. So this is the best option for now.
Well, thanks for speaking to us. So, Jenna, you are hearing, obviously, never mind the inconvenience of not having water as well, but now the cost that's involved in terms of stocking up on buckets as well, in terms of trying to get water around, the fact that there aren't now buckets because it's been going on for long. Someone else that we spoke to that was filling up earlier said that they had been without water since the beginning of the week. So it's been a tough time, and there is a lot of frustration in terms of what is going on and even how much longer it is going on for. Someone else said to me, we've been told that water will be restored. We keep being told that water is being restored, and that still hasn't happened. So lots of frustration and also lots of expense now that is involved in terms of not being able to have water coming out of taps.
All right, let's take you back to Silindelo Masikane. She's still in the south of Johannesburg, so they are on two ends of Johannesburg. And in between the city, of course, there's still a water shortage. And Slee, of course, I heard you ask a very important question about the fact that in a few months' time, we are going to the polls in South Africa, and there'll be many promises that are made to people in return for their votes, right? But talk to me about whether or not, residents feel as though this has anything to do with the fact that we haven't had a proper mayor in Johannesburg in a couple of months now.
Perhaps, yeah, let me try and bring in one of the residents as well. I'm just going to ask this gentleman to just come a little bit closer. He's also a resident here in South Hills. Thank you so much for your time. So maybe just talk to me about your thoughts around why we have a water crisis in Johannesburg. Do you think it has anything to do with the leadership issues that we've been seeing here in the city?
Yes, okay. According to me and according to my knowledge, yes, that's what it is, because our councillor, and this is not actually the first time, from, was it the 24th, if I may not be mistaken, from last month we didn't have for almost 3 weeks. And at that time, we did not see the councillor. She did not inform us about what actually is happening. So at the end of the day, I truly don't know, because the leadership that we have in South Hills, unfortunately, she is letting us down.
Talk to me about the effects of this water crisis on you and your family.
No, at the moment now, okay, as you can see, it's very devastating, because there's no toilet water, and that's the big thing. And we don't even have water to actually bath or drink. Now we must actually go to the shops to actually buy the water. So I don't understand, and it has been devastating, because I've got small kids, you understand? So I truly don't know, honestly.
Yeah. I understand the clinic as well is not operational. Sometimes school children don't even attend either because there's no water.
Yes, no, that's okay. That is correct, because last week we were given messages from the primary schools, okay, to say that it will be closed due to the actual water crisis that we're experiencing this side in South Hills.
Perhaps if you could talk to officials, people responsible to get you guys water back, what would you say?
Yeah, no, that will be good. But the problem is, which I want to know, we are right next to the water tankers here, okay, to the water towers. But why are we having this?
Yeah.
I truly don't know, ma'am. Honestly speaking, I truly don't know.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Just one of the residents here in South Hills, Masikane. I think you can tell just how frustrating the situation has been for the residents. We've been here with Tammy for about an hour or so now. We still haven't seen any water tankers that are coming to deliver more water. We know that for this particular area, this Jojo tank, once it runs out, the residents are going to have to wait for it to be filled up again before they'll be able to be able to fill up their buckets as well as their water bottles. But we do know that residents are being urged to reduce their water consumption. Let's take a listen once more to officials from that press briefing.
But when we say that residents must use water sparingly, we are not only referring to the current situation now. We are speaking generally from now going forward. It should be a habit on our own residents. We want to change the mindset of our people in terms of how they use water. We must indicate, MD, that at some stage, a couple of weeks ago, Rainwater was beginning to do some water cuts in Johannesburg. There's a concern that we're over-consuming in Johannesburg. So we can't. There's a number of kiloliters that we must use. Once we reach above, then we become penalized by Rainwater. So we'd have reached our own license requirement. But I think it's general attitude that people must change. How we do our car wash in our own townships and everywhere. People are living, when you do bath your own, yourself, brushing your own teeth, you must use a cup, not just leave the... I'm saying, Heidi, don't just use the tap flowing full time while you are busy brushing. The tap is flowing.
All right, that was an extensive report from Silindelo Masikane and Hloni Mtimkulu, live for us in different places in Johannesburg. That was Midrand and Joburg South.